Okay, it's your girl, Professor Cinephile, and I gotta do it. I have to talk about Tyler Perry's latest film, Mea Culpa. As always, spoilers. If you don't want this spoiled, I mean, you can't possibly spoil this rotten ass movie, but if you don't want spoilers, stop it now, come back later after you watch it, and let's get into the tea. Okay, where do I begin? Where do I begin? Okay, I'll begin with backstory. I've seen every Tyler Perry film. I am one of those people. I don't like, I've said this before, I don't like to criticize things that I haven't consumed. I don't think that that is moving with integrity. So I have seen every Tyler Perry film. I will give him some credit that, I've enjoyed some of his films. I've, found them funny. Tyler Perry is his best when he's wearing a dress. But whatever, we're just gonna let that be what it is. We all know. Okay, so let's get into Mea Culpa. So Mea Culpa premiered on Netflix this weekend. A lot of people have been watching it. I said on Instagram that I think it is easily one of the worst films I've ever seen in my life. Tyler Perry, for those who don't know, is a billionaire who has an entire campus that is basically like the Hollywood of the East Coast, very Universal Studios, Tyler Perry Studios. He's got, I mean, what he's done in terms of that, like building up his own studio and things like that, is really great. It's very difficult for African American filmmakers to do that. I'm loath to call him a filmmaker, though, because I think that is an insult to the craft of, excuse me, of filmmaking. Um, but anyway, in Atlanta, he has this, and people are able to use it and do those kinds of things. I wish that he would actually use it for something productive and good quality, but he seems to just not want to. Tyler Perry, at this point, I'm convinced he is trolling the world, and I think that he is seeking revenge. If you watch the documentary that's about him, that's out there, you learn that he experienced a whole lot of trauma growing up, and some of it was definitely at the hands of women, sexual trauma, other kinds of trauma, things like that. Tyler Perry has never really recovered from this, and I think making films in which he gets to punish women is his therapy. I think that because he knows that his fan base is largely African American women, he gets to seek revenge on women through the films that he makes. So he knows that, we're going to watch them, and he gets to punish us. That's the only way that I can understand Tyler Perry films. If you read Tyler Perry, and sometimes I'll say that when I'm talking about films as text, films as literature kind of thing. When you read Tyler Perry, you kind of have to read it with the lens of, this is somebody who has experienced extreme trauma and has spent the majority of their life trying to make something of themselves, for themselves, but also to prove other people wrong. And in some ways he has, right? The amount of wealth that he's been able to amass, partly because he does not spend his money where it needs to be spent, as in paying writers fair wages, paying for good quality production assistants and directors and anything else that would make a film great. He is very miserly. He's very stingy. So that's how he's able to amass that wealth, like most billionaires, right? He hoards wealth. But he's also a Virgo, no shade to Virgos, but you all know how you are, extremely meticulous. You don't think you're wrong. You think everybody else is wrong. Tyler Perry is a quintessential Virgo in that sense, and he has all the negative traits of Virgos in the chase. So when you put that together, plus the trauma, plus him being a wealthy person, because pretty much all wealthy people are evil, that's when you get Mea Culpa. Okay, so let's dig into that. Okay, so immediately you see the trailer, you're like, oh wow, maybe he got some other people to help him out, because the trailer looks pretty decent. Kelly Rowland, beautiful woman. Trevante Rhodes, beautiful man. So you're thinking this might actually have a shot at being decent. Well, no, it doesn't. within the first few minutes, you've already picked up on some problems with the film, and you already know this is Tyler's Achilles heel in a way. He cannot make a good technical film. With all the money that he has, with all of the resources that this man has at his fingertips, he still has scenes where someone wearing heels will walk on a rug and you'll hear a click-clacking of heels, right? That's how I know he's trolling, because there's no reason to have this much money and these many resources and be able to hire consistency editors, prop managers, costume, all of that kind of stuff, editors, sound editors, all that stuff. You could hire all these people to catch these things, and you choose not to. So you want to show Kelly Rowland walking in heels, and you hear click clack. She's not walking on the floor. It's things like that that piss me off, okay? And I don't mean to focus on things so detailed, but it's insulting to the viewers when he does things like that. Throughout the entire film, the sound is awful. Soundtrack is awful. Score is awful. The sound editing is awful. Everything is horrible when it comes to the technical aspects of this film. This film looks like it was shot on an iPhone 6, okay? I'm watching this and I'm like, what the hell is this man doing? And we haven't even gotten to the content yet. Oh my God. Okay. Let me bring it back. All right, because I don't need this film. I don't need this to go more than 10 minutes. Okay. So you have the storyline, this high-powered attorney, right? Makes all this money, enough to sustain her and her marriage because her husband no longer works. So she's got, this high-powered attorney. They live in this nice house. She wears these clothes that are easily $5,000 to $10,000 a day, right? If you're looking at what she's wearing, her handbags alone cost thousands of dollars, okay? This is a woman who is about her money. She is, one of the best lawyers, right? People love her. She's sharp. She's great. All these kinds of things, right? This is what Tyler Perry does. He likes to create these so-called strong women, which he's talked about, how much he loves depicting strong women, but he makes sure that they are punished for existing, okay? So while he creates these strong women, images and things like that, Tyler Perry is guaranteed to make sure that that woman suffers, okay? His usual go-to is giving her HIV or having a man beat up on her, but he's going to make sure that she suffers and she is punished somehow, not even for doing anything wrong, just for existing as a strong Black woman. So she has the opportunity to take on a client, a man who's accused of murder, an artist who's accused of murder, right? And she goes to meet with him and talk with him, and this man is flirting with her, and his focus is on why she won't admit that she's attracted to him. Boom. No, stop, Tyler. Stop. Time out. Flag on the play. You're a Black man facing murder charges, and you're claiming that you did not murder this person, and your focus is on why your attorney, the woman who could be your attorney, is not flirting with you, is not being honest about her attraction to you. Tyler Perry, my God, today, that does not happen. Like, are you okay, bro? He's not. We know he's not. We know Tyler Perry's not. So again, we're going to read it as though we are assuming that Tyler Perry has very serious psychological issues. Okay, cool. She's smart. She's married, right? We see a scene where she's married to a man who could be Latino, not really sure, biracial, something like that. He's got this white mother with a horrible orange wig. I mean, the part is like an inch thick. And again, billionaire Tyler Perry, all the money in the world. The man refuses to hire good hairdressers for his thing. Now, he can afford it. Instead, he orders wigs from Temu and Shein, okay? And he just plops them on people. And so you have this white woman wearing this horrible wig who is sitting there talking to Kelly Rowland, who plays Mia, talking to her like she's a goddamn pickaninny on the street. Excuse my cussing. I'm sorry. I'm upset. Like, I had to actually take a few days to step back because the rage I feel after seeing this film, it's not a realistic situation because her sister-in-law is also Black, for two Black women to stand together and allow this white mother-in-law to talk to one of them like she is enslaved. That does not happen in 2024. A Black woman worth her salt would have cussed that bitch out. Excuse me. Oh, sorry. No, I don't mean to be cussing. She would have cussed her out, right? But she's just sitting there and enduring it. And here's the problem with Kelly Rowland throughout this entire film. Love you, girl. You're so sweet, but you can't act worth a damn. I do enjoy you in your Christmas movies. Those are fun. They don't actually require much thought, so you do really well with those. But she was monotone throughout the entire movie. There was no upward expression, no downward expression. She was the same in every scene, and the way that I am talking is how she was talking in the film. She does not know how to tap into the emotional nuances of her character, but I cannot fault her because what did she have to work with? Okay. She definitely didn't have a good script because what the hell was that? You're talking about a story with more plot holes, okay, than a New York City street, right? Nothing made sense in this movie. Nothing at all. It did not make sense that someone who's supposed to be as smart and astute and focused as she was would fall for a man who is facing murder charges, okay? Why are they going to each other's houses? First of all, it's not professional. But why would she fall for that when she's a married woman and she's living her best life? Okay? Because Tyler Perry thinks that Black women are stupid. So that's why it was written that way. I'm just gonna jump ahead to the whole sex club thing. Okay. Now, again, it's just my opinion. Don't take it as whatever. But Tyler also has, he's admitted to having, some sexual trauma and things like that. I don't speculate on people's sexuality publicly, at least, because people can do what they want to do. For some reason, Tyler Perry felt the need to put in a scene that is out of a sex club that it's like some underground sex club, and there's all these different people having sex, and he just felt the need to put that in this movie. Has absolutely nothing to do with the movie at all. Nothing. Has nothing to do with the plot, has nothing to do with anything that was going on in this film. He just wanted to have a scene at a sex club with different people having sex. And I were to put on my tinfoil hat, I think it's just because he wanted to see it for himself and he wanted to direct it and he wanted to be in control of it. And I think that he may have some issues with control. And I think that him being a director is a way that he can have control over other people. He can tell them what to do. And even though I hear that he doesn't really do that as a director, he does not give people directions, blocking, anything like that. His scripts are like lightweight when he talks about how he can write all these pages and all these scripts in a couple of days. It's because like the script will be like this and the cast basically makes things up as they go. If you watch Tyler Perry films, you often see that they talk over each other or they interrupt each other. That's because they don't have a script to go on. So a lot of times they're improvising. All right. This happens in Mea Culpa as well. So anyway, back to this stupid ass red sex club. Okay. There was absolutely no reason for this scene other than Tyler getting off on it. Okay. Similarly, there was no need for a gratuitous sex scene between Kelly Rowland and Trevante Rhodes in which they are having sex in paint that is toxic for the body. Somebody else pointed, I forgot who you are. Sorry, I don't want to give you credit, but they talked about how expensive paint is and that no true artist is going to be writhing around on the floor, fucking someone, wasting all of that expensive paint, right? Tyler Perry doesn't think about these things because Tyler Perry is not very smart, right? Okay. I know this is getting long, but please stick with me because, oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So, what else do we know about this film? The two Sager brothers. I have my own theories about that. I'm not going to put that in here, but I just have my own ideas about how they got these roles. Yes. And then all the acting was terrible. Somebody was like, oh my gosh, Trevante has never been a good actor. Like, I don't understand how anybody thinks that Trevante Rhodes is a good actor. Trevante Rhodes was in Moonlight, which was a great film, but he didn't get nominated and didn't win nothing for it, right? That was all Mahershala, right? And Barry Jenkins. Trevante is just a good-looking black man, and people like looking at him. I like looking at him. I'm happy to see him in places, but he's not a good actor. Do you remember Bird Box? He was awful in Bird Box. Like, he's not a good actor, and he wasn't a good actor here. And just to make matters worse, it's like, all right, we know you're putting this beautiful black man here for us to see and to draw us in. Why would you give him a fucked up haircut? Why would you take this beautiful ass black man and give him a fucked up haircut? I personally think it's because Tyler is jealous of men that are that fine, because look at Tyler. And I think that this is also his way of kind of punishing like beautiful black men. Like, I mean, you look at people like Shamar Moore and some of these others that he's had. These men are extremely attractive, but he goes and he makes sure that he puts them in these fucked up wigs, fucked up haircuts. Excuse me, I'm just gonna cuss. We just have to deal with this. Puts them in all these kinds of like aesthetic situations that bring down how they look, and I think it's jealousy. Okay. Um, it's really hard to talk about the plot because there isn't one. But I do want to just quickly talk about this whole called murder thing. Okay. So we hear in the film that the way they are planning his murder is, or they trying to pin this murder on him is because apparently they say that he killed this woman and bludgeoned her to death, and her blood and her bone fragments ended up in a painting. But then we find out that the woman was never killed, but there's no explanation about how blood and bone fragments got into the painting, right? Then we hear that the woman, he met her in Mexico. His whole story is about meeting her in Mexico. And then so Mia randomly goes on vacation to the Dominican Republic, and the woman happens to be cleaning at her hotel. Not saying that people can't travel, but it was in Mexico or the Dominican Republic, you stupid ass. And why would she randomly just run into that woman there? Okay? Come on. Now, first of all, if you watch this movie 10 minutes, 15 minutes into it, you're going to figure it out. By 15 minutes in, I was like, I already know what happened. I already know this entire plot. I know what's going to happen, right? Then you just got to sit there and watch it. You got to endure it for like 2 hours for them to get there, right? All right. So she's got a friend who's a private investigator. He's not a good private investigator because he gives her bad information that any internet sleuth would not get wrong, right? So again, Tyler Perry, not very smart, doesn't think things through. I heard that he's starting to use AI to write his scripts because, again, he doesn't want to pay real writers. So he's starting to use AI programs to write his scripts. We can expect to see more of this. Now, the final commentary that I will make, if you made it this far, shout out to you, is that I think this is the beginning of the end of Tyler Perry, right? Tyler Perry has been successful because he's catered to a particular audience, right? A particular group of people. And he has stayed within that demographic. That's his bread and butter, right? This man had people taking buses from church to go see his Madea movies, right? But he's tried to expand, and so he would get these lucrative deals with like TBS and other places, and they would just buy up all his shows, right? But again, same demographic, right? He has a Netflix deal now, and now the stuff is accessible to white people. White people were not going to see Tyler Perry films. They were not really going like that to, go to the theater to see Tyler Perry films. And they weren't checking for him, and they didn't really care. Like, his biggest criticism comes from us, right? But now, white people can access him via Netflix. And I've seen some of the reviews coming out from white people, and it's like they've never experienced Tyler Perry before. And so it's actually really funny to see people being like, oh my God, what is this? How has this man made all this money like this, right? So I think his Netflix deal might actually be the nail in the coffin, because now he's exposed himself to a much broader audience, a much more diverse audience, and they're all going to be like, what the actual hell is this? And it is going to be his downfall. It's going to be his ruin, right? Because people are just not going to want this on their platform. They're going to be like, what is this garbage? And I can't wait. I love it. I'm sorry. It is time for him to be humbled in a way where he can accept that One, you should probably take some lessons, some classes on filmmaking. He's never been to film school, he's never done anything like that. No production education, no writing education, nothing. He's not studied any part of this craft at all. He just makes it up as he goes. So maybe he'll be humbled enough to do that. But what I really hope is that he'll be humbled enough to back away from being hands-on and just use the money that he has made to fund and support the real artists, the real filmmakers, the real people, the real directors, the real writers, the real prop masters, the costumers, the hairstylists, all the people that go into making film amazing and wonderful, the sound people, the cinematographers, the engineers. Maybe he'll just invest in them. And maybe this will be the moment where Tyler Perry says, I'm going to step back and I'll just be fine with being an executive producer. I'll be fine with you using my studios. I'll set up an incubator program to help people, really hone their crafts, and I'm just going to walk away from it. He's not going to do that. Not anytime soon, because he's stubborn and he's heard this criticism before. And it just actually makes him more trollish and more ignorant. The more you tell Tyler Perry he can't do that Virgo shit, the more you tell him that he can't do it, the more he's going to continue to do it, even if it's horrible. But I'm hoping that Tyler Perry decides that he wants to step back and instead invest his money in the people that actually have talent. Okay. I'd even be down for him establishing a film academy where he hires professors and other people that are actually talented to come in and to teach and to train up and coming artists to how they can refine their craft. That would be the right thing for Tyler Perry to do. Instead, we got Mea Culpa. I'm not giving this film hearts. It doesn't deserve any hearts. I can't even give it one heart. It was absolutely horrible. One of the worst films that I've ever made. If you want to watch it, go ahead, but don't say I ain't warn you. All right, I'll see y'all next time.